I just got into campus, so I'll print out the documents and then go ahead and send them to you.
Right. And or you can just throw them in my mailbox over in my office
Okay, perfect.
so that it's okay to use these. All right. Welcome, Alondra.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Fleming.
I'm glad you could be here. Do you like to go by Alondra or do you have a nickname you like to use?
I go by Alo. I go by Alondra. It doesn't matter. Whatever
What are
works.
you most comfortable with?
I feel like since I moved to San Antonio, Alondra is kind of hard to say for some people. I'm from Brownsville. I'm from the Valley.
Okay.
So usually people just go by Alo because it's a brand. So it's kind of easy to say.
Do you want me to say it more like Alondro?
It doesn't,
Alondra?
I really don't, I've never really had a preference to it. I respond to whichever.
All righty. Thank you for that. That's a good one. Um, and so before we get started, I had sent you your my disclosure statement, which was to inform you of how the counseling process will work. And just to let you know that I am a professor at Texas A&M San Antonio. And in that paperwork, you agreed to allow me to videotape this session for the class that I'm working with. And
Okay.
it also, one of those talked about assessments that we'll be using. And I just wanted to give you some understanding of what you were signing with the assessment form. And with the assessment form, when we start counseling, we like to do what's called a mental health physical. So that means I would like to get a baseline of you, anything that could be around you, your life. It's a very overall, very humanistic. We want to get to know all. I want to get to know all of you so that we can make our time together more productive for what you're coming in to see me for. Uh,
Okay.
and I will tell you when I'm going to be using an assessment. There will be several that we'll be working through today. And the way it works is that I will do a baseline of assessments, and I'll talk you through those as we get to them. I won't throw them on you. Surprise. I'll let you know what it is and what we're looking at. Some of them may not apply to you. Some of them you may be like, huh, I didn't think of that before. And so that's the reason of our baseline is sometimes there's things we don't think about when we're struggling with other topics in our mind.
Okay, perfect.
And yes, and so we will be doing a few today, and then I'm going to email you others, but we'll talk about that closer to the end of our assessment. All right.
All
And
right.
the consent overall to be in the counseling session is, and to videotape, just letting you know that this is voluntary. If at any time you feel like you're unable to continue or you'd like to take a break, please let me know. If you don't want to take an assessment, please let me know so that we can put that aside. And also that there are limitations to confidentiality. I don't know if you've been in counseling before, but just to let you know some of our limitations. This is a teaching school, so you've consented to allow me to use this video for my class. I will actually edit it so we don't have your name in there or your face, but we can leave your face if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Um, and that when this is over, it will be deleted completely from any drives that it's on. It's my work drive, and it won't be available for students to like download. It will be secured so that they cannot download it. Just watch it. Um,
Okay.
so
Thank
to
you.
keep your privacy, as well as the fact that if you talk about harming yourself or someone else, you are top priority. So make sure that we keep you safe. And I will talk to you about what that looks like if that comes up. It's not a bad thing. It's just something that if you need that help, I want to be sure that I'm able to help you with that. as we go through this. If you do need help, what those next steps would look like. Um, Bianca, can you take your picture off for me? Thank you. You can listen, but thank you. Let me change this. All right. If you know of any child or elderly person who's being abused in any manner, and it could be emotionally, physically, sexually, financially, I do have to report that to either child or adult protective services to keep them safe. So, if you do talk about that and maybe you've got somebody you're worried about, we can definitely address that in our sessions too.
Okay, thank you.
Um,
Well, you definitely do have my consent to videotape and use this video as a resource.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Also, if for some reason anything legal happens, and I'm subpoenaed, I would let you know what's going on. But if I get a legal subpoena, I do have to give the information, not the video, but the information to exactly what they're summoning. And I will let you know what that would look like. We don't use insurance, so you're on private pay. So you don't have to worry about insurance companies. So I don't have to send your information to a collector, a billing collector for insurance, not a bad collector. um, and also just letting you know again that this is voluntary, and if at any point you do want to stop, you're welcome to just let me know. And if you want this to be seen by anyone else or go to a doctor or anyone like that, you just need to sign a release of information letting me know who that would be.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. So we're going to start with our first informal assessment, and this is the intake. And this is going to help me with getting some background for you, and also letting you just kind of talk about what's going on. My questions will be pretty quick, and I'll leave a lot of the talk to you, so that you can share what's going on in your life with me as much
Oh,
as you want to. You're not forced to do any talking that you don't want to. All right. So my first question is, can you tell me a little bit about what it is that's actually bringing you in today?
so recently I've noticed that my emotions kind of are all over the place. I feel like I'm having a hard time kind of like just with the reaction based off those emotions. And I feel like I've been going through like a lot of change within my life.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm also under a lot of stress and pressure in regards to an athletic sport as well as academics. And also just kind of like with my relationships between like friendships. Um, my two best friends are going to be moving to another campus, and I feel like I've been really struggling with my emotions on trying to find out, like, okay, who am I going to be friends with now? And then on top of my parents giving me pressure with what I'm going to do with my life as well. So I feel like I've just been having a really hard time in those areas.
Well, thank you for sharing that with me. Have you been put on any kind of medication where you were referred here by a doctor or by anyone?
Uh, no, no, I haven't.
All righty. Um, are you taking any medication currently?
No.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. And when did you notice that this struggle with your emotions started?
Um, well, I feel like it started once, like, because I'm going into high school.
Okay.
And so now that I'm going into high school, I feel like I'm starting to become more aware of
Mhm.
my feelings. And it's just more difficult now to be able to respond to those feelings. And
Okay.
I feel like that's where I've been struggling in.
Okay. So you're struggling with the emotions that are happening as you're changing to move into high school from middle school.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that your friends were going to be going to a different high school than you. So
Mhm.
that's difficult for you, and that your parents have been um, maybe trying to talk to you about things that you feel like is more pressure as you're making this big change in your life.
Yeah, they really want me to make the varsity team for hockey, and they've been just on me about that. I'm gonna be going to a camp, and I am really nervous because my two best friends that are leaving to another campus are going with me to that camp,
Mm.
and I feel like now I kind of have to just push away from them because they're not gonna be there for me anymore. And so I feel like I've kind of just been isolating myself as well, um, from my parents and my friends.
Okay. So you decided that you need to kind of start that separation with your friends because they're not going to be in the same school with you,
Yeah,
and your parents because you feel like that pressure's there to start your freshman year and make it on the varsity team pretty quickly.
yeah.
Um, Thank you for sharing that. Have your parents noticed any changes with you or your friends?
I feel like my parents have, like, whenever we eat dinner, like, they just kind of bombard me with a lot of questions. And, like, I feel bad sometimes because I just kind of snap at them. And
Okay.
then, like, I'll just leave the table because I feel very overwhelmed. And I feel like that's also like a bad reaction to just snap at them. But I feel like that's just kind of like my initial reaction. And then I go into like the isolation of just wanting to be by myself.
So you feel bad snapping at your parents, but what they're talking about is overwhelming you?
Yeah, I feel like it's just, I feel like I've just gotten to that point where I'm just over the conversations with them. And I just kind of just try blocking it out. And I feel like that I know that it's wrong to just block them out, but I just don't know how to balance like those emotions and I guess kind of react correctly in a way.
So you're kind of looking for a way to balance the emotions and not snap and isolate.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm just taking a little note real quick to make sure that
Um,
we
you're
we
good.
we do cover these things with you. Um, all right, because it sounds like you feel a little guilty about that, but that's the easiest thing to stop the conversation.
Yeah, because I mean, I wasn't always like that. Like, I actually was engaging in conversations with them, and we would talk about other things besides hockey. But I feel like recently it's just been hockey and high school and focusing on the camp. And I just, that's the only thing we really talk about.
Have you noticed a change with your friends, or have they noticed a change with you getting ready
Um,
for camp?
Kind of like I feel like they've noticed that I've tried distancing myself, but they've also told me that I just don't see myself either. Like doing things that is not really me. Like I
Mhm.
try acting a certain way to like fit in. They've been telling me that, but I don't really notice that. But they've been telling me.
Okay. So they feel like you're not being yourself and you're trying to fit in.
Yeah.
Have they given you some idea of what that is? What that means?
Like kind of just the way I talk or the way I dress and um just kind of like my attitude and perspective on things.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
changed the way you're dressing?
Yeah, like so the girls on the hockey team, they're known for like dyeing like their hair like kind of like reddish. And
Um,
so I dyed it red at one point and then they were kind of like, why would you do that? Like and then I dyed it back, obviously, right? I dyed it back. But yeah, they told me that and I didn't like see anything wrong with it. I kind of was just like, well, I wanted to. Um,
Okay.
but I
So,
mean, I also am trying to make friends too.
okay.
So,
So in your thought process, it's I liked it and I wanted to be a part of the team. And then you died it back when your friends were like, well, that's just not you, their perception of you. And that was uncomfortable for you when you're around them.
mhm.
So your closest friends aren't on the hockey team. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, they're going to another campus, so they know they're aware of the team that I'm trying to be on, but they don't care to do that because they're not even going to that campus.
Oh, okay. Okay. So they're at a different mindset with what that team looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you had these feelings before this summer or the movement towards starting ninth grade?
I feel like everything started when they told me that they were gonna move. Like after that point, because they did have a conversation with me saying like we are gonna move to another school, like we aren't gonna be together anymore. And then after that, like in that moment, I remember getting super sad and emotional about it. And then after that, I feel like everything just kind of went downhill. Like I started becoming more aware of my feelings, but
Mm,
just not knowing how to respond to them.
okay. And they're going to the same school? Not
Yeah,
your school, but they're going together?
yeah, they're going together.
All right. So what kind of things have you already tried to do to help yourself feel better?
Mm, honestly, nothing really.
Okay.
Like I've noticed change where I'm trying to please everybody. So like I've been waking up earlier to work out and train for hockey. Um, and that's pretty much it. Like I don't really do anything for me.
Okay. So you tried to please others.
Yeah.
All right. And you also mentioned that you dyed your hair red, trying to maybe, you said you wanted to make new friends, so making friends on the other team. How did
Yeah.
that go for you
Every,
on the team?
well, everyone on the team has that red strand of hair.
Okay.
And so I did it at one point, and then well, my friends were telling me like that's not you, and so then that kind of got in my head, and then yeah, I'm back to black hair. But
Okay.
yeah.
Did you feel like it did anything different when you were around the team members that you're trying to be a part of?
Well, I mean the team members they thought it was cool, and then I was hanging out with them, and like that kind of brought me closer to them. So I felt like it worked, but then like other people were telling me that it's not me.
Okay. All right. That does sound like a challenge to be stuck in the middle of. So you were starting
Yeah.
to feel like you were fitting in at the new with the new team, but losing your friends when they
Yeah.
thought that you were trying to act different than they were used to.
Yeah.
Um, have you ever been in counseling before this?
No.
No? Um, all right. I'm going to ask you some questions and think of your whole family. Um, and it's not saying anything one way or the other. It's just giving me an idea of the people that have had an influence in your life at some time.
Okay.
And they may not be part of it now, or they may be very involved. Do you know anybody who uses alcohol or substances?
No, I mean, my parents do drink like
Okay,
wine there, but it's not anything excessive.
okay, okay. Do you know anybody? Do you know what ADHD is?
Kind of not really.
So it's called attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And it can be a couple of things. It can be where people just kind of get scattered and they jump from the like very impulsive, like they can't, struggle for them to slow down and think about something before they jump to do it. Or they could be the other kind where they struggle with just staying on one task and focusing. It's not that they're impulsively doing something, but it's just they kind of go from, maybe doing this homework to talking about this, and then try to get back to that homework. And so they find that they're struggling in school
Hmm.
or work.
Um, I mean, I feel like sometimes I'm going like 1,000 miles per hour, um, and I can't really just focus on like one thing.
Okay.
Like I do, I do probably see myself falling under that category.
Okay. Right. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody in your family ever been diagnosed with depression?
No,
Do you know if anybody's been diagnosed with anxiety?
no, I don't think so.
And that would be where they get just really anxious about things like overthinking and getting really nervous and tense about things. Um, Obesity, like overweight?
Mm,
No. All right. Do you know if anybody has had any kind of abuse, like emotional abuse, like people talk down to them with mean words, physically hurt somebody, or sexually hurt anybody?
no,
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that with me. Um, do you have any siblings?
no, it's just me.
Okay. Righty. And your parents, how's your relationship with your parents? I know right now when they try to talk to you about hockey or school, it's overwhelming, but overall, what is your relationship? Maybe like with your mom.
Um, Really good. I mean, with both my parents, they usually like would tuck me into bed. We talk in my room. Like, they are always telling me like we're here if you need us. You could talk to us. And before, like it used at the dinner table, like we would talk about our days.
Okay.
Um, so they're very involved as well.
Okay.
Um,
And how are they, do you notice their behavior with each other?
Good. I would say good. Um, I mean, I'm usually there with them.
Okay.
um, Maybe it's because I'm the only child, but
Okay.
um, always good. They've never been ones to fight or argue. Um, so they're always good. They're pretty much always on the same page.
Thank you. Are your parents married currently?
Yes.
Have they ever been married before?
No, this is their only time.
All right. For yourself, I know you said that you're getting nervous about moving into the ninth grade. Have you ever had a time when you were held back or you struggled with a grade or a topic or a subject?
No, I've pretty much been really good at school.
Okay.
Um, and I've never been one to like be a warrior or be scared or feel nervous. And recently I just have been. And I don't know if maybe it's because I'm getting older or I've just been experiencing those things.
Sounds like getting older and new things coming into your life that are making it a little more difficult.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have any other family members that you're close to or spend time with?
I mean, I would consider my two best friends because we've been on the same hockey team, like a travel team, since we were little. And
Okay.
so I would consider them family,
Okay.
like my sisters.
Okay. Do you have any aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents that you spend time with?
Um, Not really.
Okay. So it sounds like this is more challenging for you because the two people that are going to a school different than you are actually the ones you're closest to and feel like that's a sibling separation, it sounds like for you.
Yeah,
Like you're kind of losing your sisters is what I'm
yeah.
hearing.
Yeah, and you're the first person that I've been telling this information to because my parents aren't aware that that move is happening.
And if that bothers you, you and I can talk about how to discuss that with them. And we will talk about different ways to deal with the concerns you're struggling with. Um, so thank you for letting me know that that's something y'all haven't because talked about because it sounds like you and your parents don't really keep secrets from each other and you talk a lot, and this might be very hard for you. And I
Yeah.
appreciate you trusting me with that information. Thank you. And we will work on definitely ways that will fit into like your lifestyle so that you can be comfortable talking with them. Do you have any other friends at school besides your two best friends?
No, they were always the ones that I would hang out with.
I have heard that travel clubs tend to be very, very busy. Is that a lot of what's happening?
Yeah, we travel a lot. We recently just won a championship, and that's why we got invited to um that camp that we were gonna go to. But me and my two best friends were the only ones that got invited from the team. So
Wow. Okay. All righty. Um, Did you have any significant events growing up that you can think about? They can be positive, negative, whatever, just some really big it sounds like you just shared one with me that
yeah,
the three of you were
that's definitely one. I mean, I think like right now that I'm thinking about my parents, like they would always take me to the park, and I feel like that's just such like a happy memory for me. Like I just always remember us going to the park.
okay. All right. Any other important um, memories or things you'd like to talk about?
Mm, no, that's pretty much all I could think of right now.
Um, have you ever worked outside of school? I know right now school's the primary for you, but I just wanted to see if you've ever like,
No,
okay, right. Have you been in any romantic relationships? Right.
mm, no. I mean, I have crushes, right? But my parents don't want me to have a boyfriend.
Okay.
No.
No, okay. Um, let's see. Let's see. Have you ever tried using drugs or alcohol?
No.
Um, is there any legal issues going on around you?
No.
And at home, you mentioned there was you, your mom, and your dad. Is there anyone else that lives at home with you?
No, it's just us.
Okay. All right. And you said the changes in the family have been just your movement, um, preparing for high school?
Yeah.
We're almost to the end of the questions. Have you had any medical problems?
No, not really.
All right. How is your eating? So, like, do you eat regularly? Do you try to eat more? Watch what food you're eating.
I feel like it's pretty normal. Like I
Okay.
usually have breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay. Have you noticed that changing since you've been struggling?
I mean, I noticed that like I snack here and there,
Okay.
but nothing excessive.
Okay. What do you usually choose for a snack?
like a granola bar,
Okay.
something quick.
Quick food. All right. How about your sleeping? What time do you usually go to bed?
I would say like around 9.
9? And what
Mhm.
time, how long does it usually take you to fall asleep?
I mean, I feel like recently, like I've been tossing and turning and struggling to go to sleep, and then like I'll wake up in the middle of the night.
How long do you stay awake at that time?
Mm, I mean, I would say probably like 20 minutes. Like I'll just sit in my bed
Okay.
and then I'll go back to sleep.
And you said you're starting to get up earlier to get ready for the day. So what time are you finding yourself getting up each day?
I would say like around 8.
8 a.m.?
Um,
And how are you feeling when you get up in the mornings?
Mm, I mean, in the beginning, like I'll wake up kind of like groggy, like just dragging, and then once I get to practice, I'm kind of more energized and focused. But then I'm super tired after.
Uh, do they work you hard in your practice?
Yeah, well, I mean, I wake up. The reason why I'm waking up early is so that I could get a practice in like by myself before I go to the actual practice.
So you do two practices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a lot of pressure and they really want me to make the team. So I've been doing like extra stuff.
Okay. You've been doing extra practices. How long are your extra practices?
Probably like 45 minutes.
All righty. Do you have any hobbies, things you do for yourself for fun or just make you feel good?
I mean, I like to play a video game. I just honestly don't know the name of the video game, but I like to play video game. I also like to watch TV.
Okay.
Um, what else? I like to listen to music.
Do you have any special music you like to listen to?
It's a boy band. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know the name, but I know it's a boy band.
Okay.
But
And your video game that you choose, what kind of video games are they? Are they like,
it's kind of like I know it has like some kind of like ninja or a karate person in
so
there.
it's like an action?
An action game, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And TV, what kind of TV shows do you find yourself watching?
I still like cartoons.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. Thank you for sharing that. And then what are your strengths? What do you feel good about yourself that you do well?
Um, well, I mean, hockey is kind of everything that I put like my all into. Um, so that means I have to like make sure I'm running and staying active. Um, what else? I feel like I'm a really good friend.
Okay.
I feel like I'm always making sure that my friends are okay, and I feel like I'm always really considerate about them and their feelings.
All right. And when with hockey, what kind of roles do you play on the hockey team that you feel
Um,
strong with?
well, I always liked, well, recently, um, I like kind of like being on top, like being the one to make the shots. Um, but before, like I would pass the puck and I was I mean, I guess it's selfish to say, like, now I just want to be the ones shooting the shots. But back then, I was like a team player. Like, I was worrying about like my friends also getting the credit as well.
Okay. So it sounds like you were worried that your friends weren't going to get noticed, and now you're recognizing that your strength as a leader is to make sure that those are scored.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think are your challenges or weaknesses that you see in yourself?
I feel like a weakness is definitely I make it obvious when I'm angry or when, or I guess to say emotions get the best of me. Um, I am really struggling on processing and how to be more patient with my feelings. And I worry about everybody else's feelings, but I don't worry about mine.
And it sounds like sometimes when you get overwhelmed with that, that's where the anger comes out.
Yeah.
All right. So, thinking about everything we've talked about so far, what would you want me to help you with in counseling?
Definitely being able to recognize what emotions I'm feeling
Okay.
certain times and how to respond to them and what is kind of like the better way to go when I'm handling those feelings, just so that I'm not hurting others. Like, I'm not hurting my parents' feelings when I just get up and leave the table, um, or I'm not being rude to my friends because I don't want to talk to them. Um, so I guess just kind of understanding how to handle those emotions.
Okay. Thank you for that. Is there anything so far that we haven't talked about that you would like to add to this?
Um, no, I think that that's pretty much it.
All right. And know that you're always welcome to bring things up anytime during counseling together, because it's always your time. And if something's important to you, it's important to this process with you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, in the very beginning, I mentioned assessments that we're going to go through. And I have a few here that we're going to do right now. They're very quick, they won't take very long. Um, and then I'm going to send two home with you, and I'll talk about those in a moment. But those are ones that I will email you and ask you to send those back to me. Um, I'll I know you're busy today and tomorrow with practice, but I will ask if you can get those maybe back to me by Sunday,
Okay.
uh, anytime on Sunday, because then I can review them on Monday, and we can talk about all of it, so that we can process what that looks like for what we see, so we can make sure that your mental health physical is able to help us to give you the best support possible.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
So the first one I would like to talk to you about, it's called um, the generalized anxiety disorder, and it's 7 because there's 7 questions. So it's really quick. And with these questions, I'm going to ask them of you, and then you can tell me if it's something that never happens. It happens several days. It happens like most of the week, or parts of the week, like you notice it regularly during the week, or if you feel like it's just a constant, like all the time happening.
Okay.
Feel and think about the last 2 weeks, including today. All right.
Okay.
All right. Feeling nervous, anxious, or on edge? Not at
Um,
all. Several days, over half the days, are feeling it every day.
I would say some days.
Several
Just
days.
yeah, because coming in today, I was feeling kind of nervous because I've never been into counseling. Um, and then sometimes when I go to like those tryouts or like those important games, I do get really nervous.
Okay. So you just feel several days or over half the days?
Mm, I would say maybe like several days.
Several. Okay. Not being able to stop or control your worry.
Several days. Because I don't know how to.
Feel like you worry about too much about different things.
I would say all the time.
Um, Trouble relaxing.
Sometimes, because at nights, it's different nights where I'll just randomly wake up and then just stay awake.
Okay, so you struggle falling asleep, and so it's hard for you to relax. Is that because when we talked about it, it sounded like it was most nights, or is it just like one or two a week, or
Hmm,
that you're struggling to sleep?
I think, like probably like 2 days out of the week I'll sleep fine.
Okay,
Like most days
okay.
I struggle.
So nearly every night, except for those two each week. Being restless that it's hard to sit still. You're doing a great job with me, so I appreciate you. But on a regular day, what does that look
I
like?
always find myself like tapping my foot or like even when I'm sitting down, like I could be sitting down, but like my leg is like tapping or shaking.
Okay.
Um,
Do you find that that's um, several days, half the days over the past 2 weeks, or nearly every day?
every day.
Okay. Becoming easily annoyed or irritable.
Recently, that's been like all the time.
Feeling afraid as if something awful might happen.
Um, most days.
Most days. Um, all right. So, how difficult have these problems that you've been struggling with made it for you to do your work, to do your activities that you need to do, think about school, taking care of yourself, and getting along with others? Is it not difficult, somewhat, very, or extremely?
I feel like it's been very hard.
Very hard? Okay, thank you for sharing. Right. All right. So, looking at this, it seems like there is a possibility some anxiety is you're struggling with some anxiety, which you kind of brought up at the very beginning that these emotions were a lot for you to handle. So, thank you for talking with me on this. Let's see. You got a 17 out of 21, which means that this is an area we're going to take a little bit deeper look at to see areas that we can work on to give you that support and help you with different skills that you would need. And so, what that's going to look like is the Beck's anxiety inventory. And it's not a long one, but I'll send it with the other two. I just want to get a better feel for where your anxiety is so that you can feel more comfortable in these settings that you're talking about and moving into your new adventures that you're getting ready to start. Does that sound
Okay.
all right?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. The next one is kind of looking at those sad feelings, those guilty feelings. And this is called the Patient Health Questionnaire. It's also called a PHQ-9, which means there's 9 questions. That's clever, right? All right. So again, kind of thinking over the past 2 weeks and kind of what this is the time what brought you in to say, yes, I think I need some extra support. Um, and they're going to be the same, not at all, several days, more than half of the days over the past 2 weeks are nearly every day.
Okay.
You ready? A little interested or pleasure in doing things, having little interest,
Mm, I would say most days.
feeling down, depressed, or hopeless,
Mm, sometimes.
trouble falling or staying asleep, or sleeping too much.
I most days.
And you mentioned that was the falling asleep or staying asleep.
Yeah.
Okay. Feeling tired or having little energy.
Mm, some days. Some days it's more than others.
Okay. Um, uh, you already answered this, but I'm going to ask it. Poor appetite or overeating.
Mm, not all the time.
Feeling bad about yourself or that you are a failure or have let yourself or your family down.
Mm, sometimes.
Trouble concentrating on things as much as, such as reading, news, watching TV, just having
Mm,
trouble concentrating.
not so much.
Moving or speaking slowly that other people have noticed, or the opposite, getting fidgety, restless, moving around a lot more than usual.
Sometimes.
Which one just is normal, or you would say sometimes?
I would say like fidgeting because I know when I sit down, I do like tap my leg a lot.
Thank you. Thoughts that you would be better off dead or hurting yourself?
Mm, no, never.
All righty. All right. So for this one, it looks like your score is a 10, which means that your depression, your sadness, is mild. And so that might be something we look at the same time we're working on the anxiety. A lot of times those two come hand in hand. And so um, I'm going to offer you the Beck's depression inventory as well, just to get a better idea of the areas that we definitely want to target. And, not so we're having to go like all over. It gives us kind of a much more under a deeper understanding of areas that we can work on instead of it being overarching and a lot. I don't want to overwhelm you again. So, all right. And how difficult has these symptoms been for you? The sadness um, for you, like not difficult, somewhat, very, or extreme.
I would say very difficult.
All righty. I want to thank you so much for answering those for me. And that one was on the moderate side. So that meant there's some challenge there. And like I said, anxiety and depressive or sad feelings tend to come together. So while we're working on those, we'll be working on those together. It's
Okay.
not going to be an extra stuff to do to work on. All right. And the next one is just checking on how you're feeling. I know you said you've never felt suicidal. I'm never wanting to kill yourself or be dead. Um, let's see. Um, I'm just going to ask this one. This one is called the Columbia. It's called the Columbia Suicide Severity Rating, but it's not just for suicide. It also assesses for stress levels too.
Okay.
Right? Um, and this is just going over the past week, including today. Have you wished you were dead or wished you could go to sleep and not wake up?
No.
Um, have you ever had any thoughts of harming yourself or killing yourself?
No.
Thank you. Let's see. What are some reasons that keep you positive when you do feel like you're struggling?
I guess I just think about like the results. Like if I do really good at this game, like chances are I'm gonna make the team. So
Okay,
that kind of excites me.
okay, excellent. Um, all right, so thank you. The next one you mentioned to me that you've never tried alcohol or tobacco. Um, have you
No,
tried any illegal drugs?
no.
You said you're not on prescription medicine, but have you ever taken medicine that wasn't yours that was prescribed?
No.
And the last one we're going to talk about today, this is this is one where it's a really quick. Is there a chance you have a piece of paper and a pen near you?
Yes.
And this one's really quick.
Okay.
All right. So I don't know, can you see that circle?
Yes.
Just draw a circle. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle on your paper. There's no, I mean, if you have it a little big, it'll be easier to use. All right.
Okay.
Got that ready. First, I'm going to say 3 words, and I'm going to ask you to repeat those back to me, and then I'm going to ask you to try to remember those, okay?
Okay. I don't write anything down,
No
right?
writing them down, please. All right. The words are village, kitchen, baby.
Okay.
Can you repeat those back to me?
Village, kitchen, and baby.
Thank you. Perfect. All right. Next, on that circle, I would like you to draw a clock for me. And first, put in the numbers where they go on a clock.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for that. And now next, can you set the hands on your clock to 10 past 11?
Okay.
All right. Can you show that to me?
Oh man, hold on. I
You're
think
blurry.
I know. How do I take this off? Let's see.
You might could put it really close, like right where your face
Okay.
is in front of the camera. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Can you repeat those 3 words back to me?
Village, kitchen, baby.
Excellent. All right. So you scored a 100 on your cognitive ability. Thank you for that. And that is just one we do. It looks like you're smiling, so you're like, woohoo, end on a positive note,
I was
right?
like, I know with the clock, I was like 10 past 11. Okay, wait, let me
Yeah,
actually.
I know it's worded kind of different, but it wants to challenge you to get you a little more focused. I know, but you're smiling, so hopefully that was a good thought. You passed 100%. You did a great job. It really wasn't a test. It was just checking. But I like to end things on a positive note for you. Now, what's going to be coming in the mail to you? This is called an OQ 45.2. And this is going to be looking over the past week, including the today. If you'll read each of the items carefully and then mark under the category for this question. And then there's going to be, let me see if you can see this. Can you see that a little bit?
Yes, I can.
There's this side over here that's in a box. This side you won't put anything in.
Okay.
So you'll read the question and just color in the number that, it says 4. I mean, never, never, rarely, sometimes, frequently, and always. So it's going to be very similar to what we've already done. And you've
Okay.
already done that with that. So this will be one. It is 45 questions, but they're really quick, like I have a headache. So they're not long and drawn out. But this one is one that will give me some ideas of you've already told me a lot, and I appreciate how much you've trusted me through this to share this information with me. And again, this one is kind of doing. I want to look at I've gotten to talk to you. You've done these assessments, and this is another way to just maybe if there's areas that have happened and you haven't really thought about them,
Okay.
to give us that place that's like, oh, okay, so this is something that's going on at the same time, and we want to make sure that when you're ready to stop counseling, you are going to be like, I got this. And I know where to turn if I need help in the future too. But right now I've got this and I feel good about where I'm at. Okay.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
our goal. And then the next one is longer. This one's called the personality inventory. And what this one is, just trying to look at how you describe yourself. It's not about right or wrong, but if nobody is around you and it's just you, how do you describe yourself? And so it's going to be quite a few questions. There are a lot of questions on this one, but I just want you to go through it um, and answer as best you can. Um, and know that this is going to stay between the two of us, right?
Okay,
And it's going to help us to work on, again, just continuing to work with you. But I want you to know there's no judgment in this one. There's no wrong answers. It's just about you to get that feeling of letting you just be free and nobody, it's just between you and I. And if there's something you want to share at some point, we can definitely work on that. So, but at this point, it's just you getting to describe yourself to me.
okay, well, thank you.
All right, so I'm going to be sending those to you today after our session. They'll come through the portal link, which is a secure link that only I have access to, and you have your access to the portal so that you can get these items off of it and work
Okay, thank you so much.
on. Okay. Do you have any questions for me or any thoughts as we're leaving today?
No, I think that that's it. And I appreciate your time and helping me with this process.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you trusting me and coming into this and exploring possibilities for yourself as we go forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I will meet you next week at the same time, and we'll go over everything that we've got. And I look forward to having that discussion with you.
Alrighty, thank you.
Take care. Bye bye. Thank. Up on the
Okay.